Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So it is one of those confluences when the week's Torah portion, Shoftim, coincides with Labor Day. Moses is instructing the Israelites about setting up a judicial system once they take possession of the promised land. Tzedek, tzedek tirdof, he tells them. Justice, justice shall you pursue. In Jewish tradition, this verse is the classic source of what is known as distributive justice. Distributive justice, which means we must ensure that everyone has at least the minimum of what is necessary to live. Included in that notion is the ability to earn a living, to earn a fair wage, and in safe conditions. Labor Day is born out of the struggle of workers for such conditions. It was by organizing that workers were able to improve their lot. Factory workers, those who worked in sweatshops, banded together and created some of our nation's earliest unions. In 1988, a young Bundist immigrant from Russia named Bernard Weinstein helped create the United Hebrew Trades, an association of labor unions. Samuel Gompers, who would go on to found the American Federation of Labor, or the AFL for short, was born in the Jewish ghetto of London and immigrated to the Lower East Side, where he found work as a cigar roller. And in 1900, the International Ladies Garment Workers Union, or the ILG for short, and some of you can hum the words to that song, I know, look for the union label, would be founded by 11 Jewish men. The tragic Triangle Shirtwaist Factory of 1911, which claimed 146 lives, mostly of Jewish women, led to the growth of the ILG and revolutionized labor conditions in this country. You see, before we wore Calvin Klein, before we were Calvin Klein, Before we owned the factories, it was our rather recent ancestors who were the cutters, the pressers, and the sewers, who worked in unsafe conditions for long hours and for much too little pay. Now, for many, Labor Day weekend represents the last official weekend of the summer, a return to school, for some, the impending high holidays. But it is also a day to honor work, to honor workers, and to recognize the long and important struggle for workers' rights. Justice, justice, shall you pursue. Yedid Nefesh, page 188. I'm sorry, 128.
ידיד נפש הרחמן, ידיד נפש הרחמן, משוכב דם אל רצונה, משוכב דם אל רצונה. ירוץ עבדה כמו היה, ישתחווה עיני, ידעי עיני אל מול הדר, כי ירב לו ידידותה מנופץ ובנייני, ידעי עיני וכל דם. ידיד נפש הרחמן, ידיד נפש הרחמן, משוכב דם אל רצונך, משוכב בך, ידעי עיני אל רצונך. דודי לי ואני לא הרואה בשושני, דודי לי מזון עולה מן המדבר, מקוטרת מול לבונה. דודי לי ואני לא הרואה בשושני, דודי לי בבטיני, אחותי קלה אורי צפון ובואי תימן. דודי לי ואני לא הרואה בשושני, דודי.
As it is the month of Elul, we now turn to one of our inserts, I'm going to say peach-colored one. Songs of Forgiveness, Ya'aleh Tachanenu.
נאמנו מרד ויעבור שבתנו מבוקר ויראה נאמנו עד הערב שבתנו מבוקר יראה רימנו עד הערב
Our voices have surely soared at nightfall. We continue welcoming Shabbat with Lecha Dodi on pages 138. We'll be doing verses. Exactly. How did you guess? And at verse 9, we will rise and welcome Shabbat into our presence.
Some sort of code. I don't
It
know.
is.
I don't know what
It is. I don't know.
The code to my
Right.
my briefcase.
Right.
לך דודי לקראת
כלה, יאללה, יאללה,
יאללה לשבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה יאללה 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 לשבת נקבלה איי 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 שמור וזכור ודיבור לך ישמיענו שמות יפרת ולתהילה לך דודי לקראת כלה יאללה 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 בשבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה יאללה 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 בשבת נקבלה איי 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 לקראת שבת לכו ולכה כי היא מבואה ברכה מראש מקדם לסוכה סוף מעשה קלה, יאללה, 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 בשבת נקבלה. וחגות מילים קלה, יאללה, 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 בשבת נקבלה. איי, 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 בואי בשלום, הטרף עלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלש, בואי חלש, את לא תהיי רק קלה, יאללה, 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 בשבת נקבלה. יאללה, 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 בשבת נקבלה.
We remain standing and turn to page 146. We continue in the Hebrew. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokma poteh she'erim, uvitvuna mishane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umesader et hakochavim, v'mishmorateim barakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom u'me'avir layla, umavdil ben yom uven layla, Adonai Tzavaot Shemo, El Chai v'Kayam, Tamid Yomloch Aleinu Le'am Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, עמך אהבת. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ומצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגע יומם ולילה לענגי יומם ולילה. באהבתך אל תשים ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
You may be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We join together on the top of page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
May the one who decreed toil upon humanity, feeding us bread from the sweat of our brow, bless, sustain, and support all the workers of the world, servants and maids, working men and working women, farmers and wine pressers, hirelings and artisans, skilled craftspeople and careful designers, all those who labor. May all those who labor be blessed with the sleep of peace. May God's shelter of peace be spread over us all, and may we rise restored, able to do your will.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום העמידנו שומרנו לחיים השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום העמידנו שומרנו לחיים. Spread the shelter of your peace. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us to wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Hamidenu shomrenu lechaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow or pain. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Hamidenu shomrenu לחיים לחיים. ברוך אתה אדוני הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים. It's for you, Victor. Rabbi Appel asked me to learn this special one. I'm going to do it now. Here we go. Okay.
Let's
I know
see.
you know it. All right, here we go. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם לעולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפל ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Love it.
So you may not realize this, but rabbis have favorite melodies, and good cantors learn those favorite melodies. And this melody is known as the South African melody of Vishamru, though there's really no proof that it has any connection to South Africa, but it's a great story, so we'll stick with it. And it happens to be my favorite melody to the Vishamru. So thank you. You did it beautifully. We continue with the Amidah, beginning on page 164. Please rise.
Adonai, שפתי תפתח, ופי יגיד, תהילתך. אדוני, Open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Adonai, Shabbat Yifrach, Ufi Yagid, Tehilatecha. Adonai, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא, אליון, גומר חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לישני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue our prayer silently, and when you are finished, you may be seated.
ואנה לא אמצאך, כבודך מלא עולם. דרשתי קרבתך בכל ליבי לקראתיך הוצאתי לקראתך לקראתי מצאתיך מקומך נעלה ונעלם ואנה לא אמצך כבודך מלא עולם דרשתי קרבתך בכל ליבי קראתיך הוצאתי לקראתך לקראתי מצאתיך מקומך נעלה ונעלם.
We now turn to the Misha Berach on page 371. Yishaberach Avotenu ve'imotenu Avraham Yitzhak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu yavarech et hacholim. May the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are ill. Gabby Kraft Buckman, Ross Kagan, Harold Cohen, Chaim Yankel, Alice Beal, Shari Barnett, Stephen Wasser, Husheng Aziz, Kim Olson, Howard Kessler, Sharon Stricker, Jeffrey Feldman, Nancy Nadaldi, Jolie Davis, John Giardina, Kenneth Brill, Ann Spiegel, and to those we add the names who you are thinking of tonight. Ike Goldman.
רפאנו אדוני ונרפא, הושיענו וניוושע, אל קרוב לכל קורה, אך קרוב ליראה ישעור. We pray for the healing of the body. We pray for the healing of the soul, for strength of flesh and mind and spirit. We pray to once again be whole. Oh, please heal us now. רפואת הנפש, רפואת הגוף, רפואה שלמה. Heal us now. Heal us now. הושיע את עמך וברך את נחלתך, והם מנסה מעתה ועד עולם. מי שברך אבותינו, מי שברך אמותינו, אנא אדוני הושיענה. We pray for the healing of the people. We pray for the healing of the land. And peace for every race and nation, every child, every woman, every man. Oh, please heal us now. רפואת הנפש, רפואת הגוף, רפואה שלמה. Heal us now. Heal us now. Heal us now. Heal us now.
May our tears be turned to joy as we join together for the Kiddush and enjoy the sweetness that all the world has to offer. Page 122. Please rise.
What do you think it is today?
It's wine.
Yeah? No, it's wine.
123.
ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן, אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו מצוותיו ורצה בנו, בשבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה וראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת, אמן.
L'chaim. You may be seated. With each portion of Deuteronomy, the sense of urgency seems to grow. Moses is instructing the Israelites on how to set up a judicial system once they enter the Promised Land. Like our ancestors, for us too, the sense of urgency grows day by day. We too are getting closer to our own personal version of reaching that Promised Land. We have almost completed yet another sacred journey. This month of Elul is a prelude to the High Holy Day season. We actually have less than a month ahead of us. And what shall we do with it? How shall we get ourselves into that High Holy Day state of mind? I, for one, am not looking for grand gestures, but rather small actions that will, on a daily basis, remind me that the season of Din and Teshuvah, judgment and return, are at hand. In the remaining days of the month, my practice will be to spend just a few minutes a day by myself with as few distractions as possible. No looking at my phone, no checking email, no playing music in the background, just me and the place I find myself in. Though I will seek a few minutes of quiet reflection each day, cell phones, voicemail, texts, and email are the realities of my life. Perhaps you can relate. The challenge then becomes how to infuse the mundane with something holy, something of the time at hand. It is actually traditional to wish others a Shana Tova, or a Happy New Year, during the entire month of Elul. So start it right now. Go ahead. There you go. Good practice. I am going to change the message on my voicemail. Anyone who calls and leaves and gets my voicemail will receive my wish for a happy and healthy new year. Even the nice lady asking me about my car's extended warranty. I will soon sign off on my emails with Shana Tova. I hope not only to put myself in that high holy day state of mind, but others as well. And my hope is that these first small steps will lead to greater ones during the month of Elul. There is a story about a poor country woman who had many children. They were always begging for food, but she had none to give them. One day, she found an egg. She called her children round and said, "Children, children, we've nothing to worry about anymore. I found an egg. And I am a smart woman, so I'll not eat this egg. Instead, I will ask my neighbor for permission to put it under her hen until a chick is hatched. And I am a smart woman," she said, "so we will not eat that chick. But instead, we'll set her on eggs, and the eggs will hatch into chickens. And the chickens will in turn hatch many eggs, and soon we'll have many chicks and many eggs. And because I'm a smart woman, I'll not eat the chickens or the eggs, but I will sell them and buy a heifer. And I'll not eat the cow, but I will wait until it calves, and I'll not eat them either. And soon we will have many cows and many calves. And because I'm a smart woman, I'll sell the cows and the calves and buy a field. And soon we will have fields and cows and calves and chickens and eggs, and we won't need anything more." And while she was speaking, the egg fell out of her hand and broke. Rabbi Chaim Halberstam, a 19th century Hasidic rabbi, said, "This is how we are. When the holy days arrive, everyone resolves to do teshuvah, thinking in their heart, I'll do this and I'll do that. But the days slip by in mere talk, and talk doesn't lead to action. Our plans slip out of our hands and fall apart on the ground. As the saying goes, yesterday is a canceled check and tomorrow is a promissory note. All we really have is today. And so let us resolve that if we are going to change, we will do it now. If we're going to engage ourselves in the process of teshuvah, let us begin. If we are going to ready ourselves for the high holy days, let us start right now. As our ancestors could see the promised land ahead of them in this week's Torah portion, we can almost see the high holy days before us. They sought to prepare themselves, and so might we. The month ahead can indeed be a sacred journey, and I hope we will make it so. One of the small acts that I do, and I'm going to co-opt you into joining me right now, is to recite Psalm 27. It's traditional to recite this psalm during the days of Elul. If you were here last week, you might remember that I said that the tradition is actually that we recite Psalm 27 100 times, twice a day, from the beginning of Elul all the way until Simchat Torah. So I hope you'll join me. It's on the blue insert. Psalm 27, together, of David. Adonai is my light and my victory. From whom should I feel fright? Adonai is the stronghold of my life. From whom should I feel terror? When evildoers approach me in battle to feed on my flesh, my pursuers, my adversaries, they have stumbled, they have fallen down. If a camp encamps against me, my heart will not fear. If a war arises against me, in this I would trust. One thing I have sought from Adonai, how I long for it, that I may live in the house of Adonai all the days of my life, that I may look upon the sweetness of Adonai and spend time in the palace, that you might hide me in your sukkah on a chaotic day, hide me in the hiding places of your tent, raise me high upon a rock. Now my head rises high above my enemies round about, and in your tent I'll offer offerings to the sound of truah. Shall sing and chant praises to Adonai. Hear, Adonai, my voice. I am crying out. Be gracious to me. Answer me. My heart has said to you, seek my face. I am seeking your face, Adonai. Do not hide your face from me. Do not turn your servant away in anger. You have been my help. Do not forsake me. Do not abandon me, God of my deliverance. For my father and my mother have abandoned me. Yet Adonai gathers me up. Make your path apparent to me. Guide me in the upright road, because of those up ahead who lie in wait for me. Do not hand me over to the lust of my adversaries, for false witnesses have risen against me, puffing violently. Had I not the faith that I would see the goodness of God in the land of life? Wait for Adonai. Fill your waiting with hope in Adonai. Let your heart be strong and of good courage, and wait hopefully for Adonai.
אחת שאלתי ואת אדוני, אחת שאלתי אותה אבקש, אחת שאלתי ואת אדוני, אחת שאלתי אותה. If you want to follow along, it's on page 662. Shifti, Shifti, Be'evet Adonai. Shifti, Shifti, Kol Yemei Chayai. Shifti, Shifti, Be'evet Adonai. Shifti, כל ימי חיי לחזור בנועם אדוני ולבקר בהיכלו, לחזור בנועם אדוני ולבקר שאלתי ואת אדוני, אחת שאלתי אותה אבקש.
We continue with Eleno on page 586. Please rise if you are able.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. So this Shabbat, our member Jill Morton is observing a yurtzeit for her grandmother. And Jill is joining us on Zoom. She's not here tonight with us, but she is with us on Zoom. And so Jill, we've unmuted you, and we're going to ask you if you would like to share a few words about your grandmother.
Thank you so much. And Temple Emanu-El is so close to my heart. I grew up in Westfield and got mitzvahed by Rabbi Kroloff and at Temple Emanu-El. And my grandparents on my father's side were founders. I'm here to talk about Sylvia Sand, my grandmother on my mother's side. She was an amazing, amazing grandmother. She was conservative and went to a conservative shul in Plainfield, where as a child, she would take me, I would sleep over on Friday nights, and she would take me many Saturday mornings to shul with her. She was the matriarch of the family. She made every Shabbos dinner for all of us and every holiday, and just made it so fun and wonderful, and really instilled Judaism in all of us. She was very active in UJA and the Federation, and she helped during the Holocaust with families coming over. So I wanted to just speak about her because she is so meaningful to all of us in our family and to so many, and to even my children. And I just, may her light not be extinguished forever and ever.
Thank you, Jill, for that very touching remembrance of your grandmother.
Thank you.
Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. If you are in the first year of mourning, I invite you now to rise. You are invited to rise and remain standing when the name of your loved one is recited. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us in the past 30 days. Rick Shapiro, husband of Debbie Shapiro. Sidney Klein, uncle of Pete Klein. Gary Donner, brother of Carol Siegel. Bobby Frund. Ira Schwartz, uncle of Ricky Newman and husband of Marcia. Lawrence Hoffman, father of David Hoffman, and Martha Pollock, mother of Zena Muroff. And those who died at this season in years past: Henrietta Blaustein, Helena Booker, Sheila Bookbinder, Irene Buckler, Ruth Cohen, Ruthie Engelman, Irene Feldman, Eleanor Friedman, Pesach Gaufman, Yetta Geller, Manuel Jerminsky, Joyce Glickman, Celia Goldman, Joan Goldstein, Minna Griebel, Helen Green, Samuel Harris, Eli Helfin, Herb Heller, Nathan Hirsch, Chell Hollander, Sophie Hollander, Ruth Israelo, Isaac Kaplan, Harry Kay, Joseph Kendler, Ralph Langsam, Norma Leedy, Bernard Levine, Joseph Levine, Lily Marcus, Sylvia Medoff, Frederick Meiselman, Lillian Neubauer, Viola Newman, Frank Ox, Lottie Oster, Dorothy Rosenfeld, Kurt Rubel, Lucy Salty, Sylvia Sand, Lori Schatz, Irene Seckler, Pearl Shotland, Martin Schulman, Paula J. Spivak, Naomi Steiner, Irving Straver, Howard Sweetwood, Jeanette Rose Tell, Max Tischler, Louis Turkel, Mark Vogel, Ruth Wachstein, Joseph Weinberg, Selma Weiss, Max Weiss, Ann Zemmel, Mark Zuckerman, Elaine Bauer. And we remember those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own, Zichronam Livracha. May their memories be for a blessing. We join together in the words of the Mourner's Kaddish on page 598, and if you are able, I invite you to rise. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'yamad divrach u'reteh v'yamlich malchuteh. B'chayachon u'v'yom echon u'v'chayeducho Beit Yisrael, b'galav v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'elam omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitada v'yitale v'yitalal shmei shkusha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata. Damiran bialma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya. Alinu v'al kol Yisrael. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Alinu v'al kol Yisrael. Amen. You may be seated.
I'd like to call my wife Rebecca, my coach, and my great public speaker from Germany. Let's sing Oseh Shalom. Where is our baby, by the way?
She's not feeling well.
She just turned one last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did it. Oseh shalom bimrumav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimrumav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimrumav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu yoshvei tevel. She just turned one. Oseh shalom b'mumav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom b'mumav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom b'mumav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol yoshvei tevel.
Yaseh shalom.
Okay. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Oseh shalom b'mumav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Shabbat shalom.
Thank you, Rebecca. Our observance of Shabbat continues tomorrow morning with Holy Scrollers at 8:15 and the Minyan at 9:30. Both are in Levi House and on Zoom. Next Friday, September 9th, join us for a very festive Come As You Are, Welcome Back Shabbat. I'm still trying to figure out what Come As You Are means, but we think it means no seersucker. I'm sorry. Sorry if you didn't wear your seersucker tonight. What can I say? We'll do a seersucker Shabbat next summer. But next week, come at 5 o'clock for a very special pre-neg where you will have the opportunity to learn more about ways in which you can become involved at the temple. Our community-wide Slichot observance will be on Saturday, September 17th at 8 p.m. at Congregation Beth Israel in Scotch Plains. We will hear from Gary Adickman, board member of the Joint Distribution Committee, about the important work that the JDC is doing in Ukraine. And holiday registration is open, so please check your email for that. And if you are a child, or I should say, if you are a baby between 0 and 18 months old, or you can get your hands on one, sign up for Shira with Shimon, a 5-week music and movement experience beginning in October. So get your babies ready. And our closing song.
Let's do some 999s.
999.
We're on verse 3.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. That was lovely.